hangs heavy over the Zagros mountains, casting long, bruised purple shadows across the valley floor. We have been marching for weeks now, leaving the opulence of Babylon far behind. The air here is thinner, sharper, tasting of dust and wild thyme crushed under thousands of sandaled feet. You can hear the rhythmic clatter of the baggage train, the lowing of oxen, the soft murmur of soldiers speaking a dozen different tongues. Alexander rides at the front, as always. He doesn't look like a king today, just another man squinting against the glare, his hair bleached almost white by the relentless Persian sun. There is a palpable sense of anticipation in the ranks, a collective holding of breath. We are walking off the edge of the known map, stepping into stories that haven't been written yet. And as the light begins to fail, painting the peaks in shades of fire and gold, you feel a strange peace settle over the army, a quiet certainty that whatever lies ahead, we will meet it together. Night falls differently in the high country. It doesn't descend so much as it rises from the earth, cool and blue and smelling of damp stone. The fires are lit now, thousands of them, mirroring the vast, spilled milk galaxy of stars spinning overhead. It is said that the Magi can read the future in those lights. I wonder what they see for us tonight. The sounds of the camp are a low, comforting hum, the sharpening of iron, the tearing of bread, the laughter of men who have survived another day. Close your eyes and listen. The wind sighs through the scrub brush, a lonely, ancient sound that makes you pull your cloak tighter. It carries the scent of roasting meat and wood smoke, grounding you in the present moment. Here, wrapped in wool and shadow, the empire feels very far away. There is only the warmth of the fire, the hard ground beneath, and the steady, reassuring beat of your own heart. They call this the Royal Road, but it is little more than a track worn smooth by centuries of traders and armies. Dust coats everything, eyelashes, armor, the very inside of your mouth, turning us all into ghosts of the same grey earth. Finding water is the day's only true victory. Today, we found a spring tucked into a fissure in the rock, fern green and impossibly clear. The water was so cold, it made your teeth ache, tasting of minerals and the deep, secret places of the world. Men knelt to drink side by side, Macedonian and Persian, united by simple thirst. In that moment, watching the water run through dusty fingers, you understand why we keep moving. It's not just for conquest or gold. It's for these small, sudden miracles. The way the light catches the spray, turning it into diamonds. The brief, horses are restless tonight. They can smell the storm coming before we can see it. The air has grown heavy, charged with static that makes the hair on your arms stand up. Far to the north, lightning flickers like a nervy eyelid, illuminating immense clouds, building like towers against the dark. There is a primal energy in the approaching weather, a reminder of forces no king can command. We secure the tents, tie down the supplies, and wait. The first drops are fat and warm, exploding in little puffs of dust where they hit the ground. Then the rain comes in earnest, a washing clean of the world. The sound is deafening, a roar that drowns out all thought. Huddled under canvas, listening to the deluge, you feel small and safe, a seed waiting in the earth for the storm to pass. We passed through a village today that wasn't on any map, just a cluster of mud brick houses clinging to the hillside like swallows' nests. The people watched us pass with eyes dark as obsidian, neither welcoming nor afraid, just witnessing. They offered us baskets of dried figs and a hard, salty cheese that crumbled on the tongue. I wondered what they made of us, this river of steel and color flowing through their quiet lives. Alexander stopped to speak with an elder, his voice dropping to that low, respectful register he uses. They didn't share a language, but they shared a nod, a moment of recognition. It made me think about the invisible threads that bind us, the shared humanity that exists beneath the banners and the battles. We are all just travelers, in the end, passing through each other's stories. Dawn is the best time, before the heat builds, before the orders are shouted. The world is painted in soft pastels, apricot, rose, pale lavender. You step out of your tent, and the air is crisp, filling your lungs like cold water. The dew is heavy on the grass, soaking your sandals. Walk with me to the edge of the ridge. Look below us. The mist is pooling in the valleys, a white sea from which the mountain peaks rise like islands. It is so quiet, you can hear a hawk cry from a mile away. In this stillness, the possibilities of the day seem endless. The past mistakes, the future fears. None of it matters. There is only this light, this breath, this moment of perfect, suspended potential. The terrain is changing. The sharp crags are smoothing out into rolling hills, gold and green under the midday sun. We saw gazelles today, a herd of them moving like liquid smoke through the tall grass. They stopped to watch us, ears flicking, before vanishing into the landscape as if they had never been. It feels wilder here, older. The ruins we pass are worn down, slabs of stone, their names and builders forgotten. It's a humbling thing to walk over the bones of civilizations. It reminds you that we are temporary, but the wind is the same wind, the sun is the same sun. There is a comfort in that continuity. We are part of a long, slow rhythm that began long before us and will continue long after we are gone. Silence is rare in an army of 50,000, but sometimes, in the heat of the afternoon, a hush falls over the column. The only sounds are the creak of leather and the crunch of gravel. It is a trance-like state, a meditation in motion. Your mind detaches from the aches in your legs and floats free. You notice the small things. A blue flower growing stubbornly in the shadow of a rock. The intricate pattern of a lizard's scales. The way the sweat tracks through the dust on your arm. In these hours, you are not a soldier or a conqueror. You are just a body moving through space, a consciousness witnessing the world. It is a kind of freedom, this empty-headed walking, a release from the burden of being yourself. We made camp early today in a grove of wild pistachio trees. The shade is a blessing, cool and dappled. The men are relaxed, tunics unbelted, lying in the grass. Someone is playing a wooden flute, a sad, wandering melody that weaves through the trees like a bird. It reminds me of home, of the olive groves in Macedon, of evenings that stretched out forever. Do you remember the sound of the cicadas? The way the sea turned purple at twilight? Those memories feel like dreams now, soft edges and faded colors. But here, under these strange trees, listening to that flute, the distance closes. Home isn't a place on a map. It's a feeling you carry with you. A small flame cupped in your hands against the wind. The moon is full tonight, a great silver coin pinned to the velvet sky. It bathes the camp in a ghostly radiance, turning the tents into pyramids of pale light. I cannot sleep. The air is too full of energy, too full of the unseen. I walk the perimeter, nodding to the sentries who stand like statues against the dark. They watch the horizon, but I watch the sky. It makes you realize how vast the world is and how small our part in it. Alexander is awake too. I saw his shadow pacing against the wall of his tent. What does he think of? I wonder. When the world is asleep, does he feel the weight of it all? Or does he just look up at the moon, like me, and marvel at its cold, indifferent beauty? The light here has a different quality, golden and thick like honey. We are approaching the heart of the empire now. The road has widened, paved with stones, fitted so perfectly you cannot slide a knife blade between them. It's a marvel of engineering, a testament to a power we are only just beginning to comprehend. The air smells of baked clay and jasmine, a sweet, heavy scent that clings to your skin. We passed a caravan today laden with silks that shimmered like water in the sun. The merchants watched us with guarded eyes, their camels chewing with slow, sideways grinds of their jaws. There is a sense of ancient wealth here, of a civilization that was old when Macedon was just a collection of tribes. It makes you walk a little softer, speak a little lower. We camped tonight near the ruins of an old palace. The walls are gone, but the columns remain, rising like white bones against the indigo sky. They are carved with beasts I have never seen. Winged bulls with men's faces, lions with wings of eagles. In the moonlight, they look almost alive, guarding secrets long forgotten. I sat for a long time, tracing the carvings with my fingertips, feeling the cool, rough stone. Who were the men who built this? What did they love? What did they fear? The wind blew through the empty spaces where halls once stood, a hollow, mournful sound. It's a reminder that even stone crumbles, even empires fall, only the wind remains. Water is the soul of this land. We found a canard today, an underground channel bringing melted snow from the mountains to the desert floor. We descended the stone steps into the cool dark. The sound of running water in that dry place was like a hymn. It echoed off the walls, amplification of life itself. We filled our skins and splashed our faces, washing away the dust of the road, emerging back into the blinding surface light was like waking from a dream. It made me think about the hidden currents that sustain us, the secret sources of strength we tap into when the world is harsh and dry. Like this water, they run deep, unseen, but vital. The heat at midday is a physical weight, pressing you into the earth. The horizon shimmers and dances, creating lakes of water that vanish as you approach. Mirages, the locals call them, illusions of desire. It's easy to lose your sense of reality here. Is that a tree in the distance, or a trick of the light? Is that the sound of bells, or just the ringing in your ears? You learn to trust only the ground beneath your feet, the steady rhythm of your own breath, step by step, breath by breath. That is the only truth in the desert. Everything else is just light and heat, playing games with your mind. We have reached the great gates. They tower above us, glazed in blue and gold bricks that shine like jewels. Lions march across them in eternal procession, mouths open in silent roars. Passing through them feels like stepping into the belly of a beast. The city beyond is a labyrinth of noise and color. The shouts of vendors, the the smell of roasting meat and exotic spices, the kaleidoscope of robes in every shade of the rainbow. It is overwhelming, a sensory assault. But here, in the quiet of my quarters, looking out at the city lights spreading like a carpet of fireflies, there is a strange beauty to the chaos, a pulse of life that beats strong and steady in the night. I found a garden today, tucked away behind high walls, a paradise of pomegranate trees and rose bushes, with a fountain bubbling in the center. The noise of the camp faded away, replaced by the gentle splash of water and the buzzing of bees. Paradox, that is the word for this land. Harsh deserts and lush gardens, cruelty and profound beauty. I sat on a marble bench and closed my eyes, letting the scent of the roses wash over me. For a moment, I wasn't a soldier. I wasn't far from home. I was just a man in a garden, enjoying the sun on his face. Peace, I've learned, is not a place. It's a choice you make, a space you carve out inside yourself. The stars seem closer here, dangling like lanterns on invisible strings. The astronomers say they map the destiny of kings. I look up and see only scattered diamonds, beautiful and cold. Alexander spends hours with the Chaldeans, listening to their charts and prophecies. He searches for patterns in the chaos. Me, I find comfort in the chaos, in the randomness of a shooting star, the unpredictable drift of a cloud. It means nothing is written. It means we are free. Tonight, the Milky Way is a river of spilled milk across the sky. I imagine sticking my hand into it, feeling the cold stardust running through my fingers. A river of light to match the rivers of sand below. The wind changed today. It blew from the north, carrying the sharp, clean scent of snow. The mountains are calling us again. We are leaving the plains, the easy roads, the soft cities. There is a tension in the camp, a tightening of sinews. The men check their weapons, oil their leather, sharpen their blades. But beneath the preparation, there is also an eagerness. We are mountain men, born of rock and high places. The plains make us soft, anxious, but the mountains make us real. Looking at those white peaks piercing the sky, I felt a familiar thrill. The climb, the struggle, the view from the top. It is what we were made for. We marched through a canyon today so narrow the sky was just a blue ribbon high above. The walls rose vertically, sheer red rock striated with purple and ochre. The sound of the horses' hooves echoed like thunderclaps. It felt like walking through the earth's own veins. Every sound was magnified, a cough, a laugh, the clinking of of a bridal. It was intimate, enclosed, and then suddenly the walls fell away and we emerged onto a high plateau. The wind hit us, vast and unchecked. The world opened up, extending in every direction to a curved horizon. From the womb of the rock to the infinite sky, it took the breath away. That sudden expansion of space. Whatever you have heard about Persepolis, it is not enough. Stone columns forest the sky, topped with bulls and griffins that seem to hold up the heavens. The scale of it is inhuman. You feel like an insect crawling across a king's banquet table. The staircases are wide and shallow, designed for horses to ride up. The reliefs on the walls show peoples from every corner of the world bringing gifts. It is a stone encyclopedia of the empire, walking through the hall of 100 columns, dust dancing in shafts of light. You feel the weight of centuries. This was built to last forever, to say to the future, we were here, we were great. And standing in the shadow of those pillars, you have to agree they were. The burning of the palace was not a triumph, it was a wound in the night. I watched the flames lick the stars, orange tongues consuming centuries of art and history. The heat was intense, forcing us back, but even more intense was the silence that followed the roar. In the morning, the smoke hung over the plain like a shroud, walking through the ashes, kicking shards of charred cedar and melted gold. I felt a deep, hollowing sadness. We are makers of ruins, I thought. We carve our names in destruction. Alexander stood amidst the wreckage, face soot-stained, eyes unreadable. Was he looking at his victory, or was he seeing, for the first time, the cost of his glory? We are chasing a ghost now. Darius flees north, and we follow, a relentless iron hound on his scent. The pace is grueling. We sleep in the saddle, eat while we ride. The landscape blurs into a smear of grey and brown. There is no time for tents, no time for fires. We wrap ourselves in cloaks and sleep on the hard earth for an hour, then move again. There is a strange intimacy in this shared exhaustion. We are stripped down to our essence, hunger, thirst, the will to keep moving. The king rides with us, eating the same dry bread, drinking the same stagnant water. It binds us to him with a loyalty stronger than gold. He suffers as we suffer. We found him today, the great king. He lay in a cart, abandoned by his own men, stabbed by traitors. He was already dead when we arrived, his eyes fixed on the empty sky. Alexander covered him with his own cloak. It was a quiet moment, devoid of triumph. Two kings, meeting at the end of the world, one rising, one fallen. It made the game of empires seem small and tragic. We buried him with honor, not as an enemy, but as a peer, a reminder that fortune is a wheel and it turns for us all. Today, you are the hunter, tomorrow, the prey. The only thing that lasts is how you faced the end. We have marched off the edge of the map. The lands here have no names in our tongue. The tribes are fierce, appearing from the mist to strike and vanishing like ghosts. The cold is a living thing, biting through leather and wool. We build fires high and sit close, shoulder to shoulder. The stories told around the flames have changed. They are no longer about glory and cold. They are about home, about the smell of rain on hot stone in Bella, the taste of new wine, the touch of a wife's hand. We are conquerors of the world, yet we would trade it all for a single night in our own beds. I met a woman today in the market of a mountain village. She was selling woven rugs patterned with complex geometries of red and blue. She didn't look down when I approached. She looked me in the eye, old and weather beaten and utterly unafraid. We bartered with hand signs and smiles. I bought a small rug, not because I needed it, but because I wanted a piece of that fearless spirit. I keep it in my pack. Sometimes, when the fear of the unknown grips me in the dark, I touch the rough wool. It reminds me that life goes on, independent of kings and conquests. People live, weave, trade, and die. Endurance woven into every knot. We crossed a river today that the locals say is the boundary of the inhabited world. The water was milky with glacial silt, cold enough to stop your heart. Crossing it felt like a baptism. We are different men now than the ones who crossed the Hellespont years ago. Harder, leaner, scarred in body and soul. We have seen too much. The wonder has been tempered by blood, and yet, looking at the men around me, splashing through the freezing current, laughing and cursing, I feel a surge of fierce love. We are a family forged in fire. We carry each other's burdens. There is no one else who can understand what we have become. The wedding at Susa was a spectacle such as the world has never seen. 10,000 Macedonians taking Persian wives, a merging of east and west in a riot of flowers and feasting. I sat at a long table, watching the dancers whirl, their silks creating spinning tops of color. It was beautiful, yes, but also strange. Can you marry two worlds by degree? Can you stitch together cultures with vows? I looked at my own bride, dark-eyed and shy. We have no common words, but when she poured my wine, her hand brushed mine, a small human warmth. Maybe that is where it starts, not with degrees, but with a touch, the king is changed. The fire in him burns hotter, consuming him. He is restless, always looking to the next horizon. Arabia, he says, Rome, the ends of the earth. We follow because we are his. But the men are tired. You can see it in their eyes. A deep, bone-weary exhaustion. We have conquered the world, but we have lost ourselves. I look at my hands, and they are the hands of a stranger, calloused and stained. I wonder if I will ever remember how to hold a plow, or a child, or a pen. We are tools of war, sharpened to a razor edge. What happens when there are no more wars to fight? Babylon again. The circle closes. The city is humid, heavy with the smell of river mud and dying flowers. There is a sickness in the air. The birds are silent. Alexander is ill. The rumor flies through the camp like a black arrow. We gather outside the palace, thousands of us, silent as stones. We wait. We pray to gods we have forgotten. The sun sets, painting the ziggurats in blood-red light. It feels like the end of an age. The world holds its breath, waiting for the giant to fall. And in the silence, I hear the beating of my own heart, loud and terrified. He is gone. The sun has set. The world feels smaller, dimmer, less impossible. We walked past his bed, one by one, a long line of weeping iron men. He looked so small, just a man, not a god, just a man worn out by his own fire. We are adrift now, orphans of history. The empire will shatter. The jackals are already circling, but tonight there is only grief and memory. I remember him on Bucephalus, racing the wind. I remember his laugh in the high mountains. I remember the light in his eyes when he talked of new worlds. That light is gone, but it burned so bright for a moment that it blinded the stars. We were there, we saw it, and that will have to be enough.